For over 5 decades, Andy Griffith and Aneta Corsaut captivated audiences with their undeniable chemistry on The Andy Griffith Show. From their first appearance together in 1961, fans immediately sensed the connection between them. But what they didn't know was that off-screen, the bond between Andy and Aneta went far deeper than anyone could have imagined. For years, Andy kept the truth about their relationship hidden. He never publicly acknowledged the full extent of their connection, and it wasn't until years later that Andy finally opened up about it. What he revealed changed everything we thought we knew about their friendship. When The Andy Griffith Show first premiered on the 3rd of October, 1960, few could have predicted the lasting impact it would have on both television and its cast. From the start, Andy Griffith's portrayal of the lovable, down-to-earth Sheriff Taylor was a hit with audiences. But it was Aneta Corsaut's portrayal of Helen Crump, the schoolteacher and later love interest of Andy's character, that added an emotional layer to the show. From her first appearance in 1961, fans could sense an undeniable chemistry between Andy and Aneta. Their interactions as co-stars brought warmth, humor, and genuine affection to the screen, which became the heart of the show. Aneta's first appearance as Helen was in Season 1, Episode 22, titled The Teacher, but what was initially meant to be a one-off role quickly turned into something much more. Her character was soon integrated into the storyline, becoming Sheriff Taylor's steady, supportive counterpart. Fans loved their relationship gentle, believable, and grounded. But as the show progressed, so too did the bond between the two actors. By 1962, Helen Crump had evolved into a key character, and the love story between her and Andy's character was developed more fully. But what fans saw on screen was only part of the story. Behind the scenes, Andy and Aneta's professional relationship blossomed into a deep mutual respect and an unspoken friendship that would continue for years. They had a quiet understanding of each other, both in their personal and professional lives, and they leaned on each other during the challenges of working in a high-profile environment. While Andy was known for being a private person, rarely revealing much about his personal life, Aneta was equally protective of her own space. Despite their closeness on set, neither of them ever crossed the line into overt displays of affection or public acknowledgement of a deeper connection. Their bond, though real and significant, remained a private affair, even as their characters' romance became one of the central plot lines on the show. The respect and trust they shared, however, was evident in their interactions. Andy often spoke highly of Aneta in interviews, calling her not only a talented actress, but also a steadfast friend. He admired her professionalism, her dedication to her role, and the way she embodied the character of Helen with grace and sincerity. While fans saw their on-screen chemistry, the truth of their relationship was much more grounded, built on years of collaboration and quiet respect. By 1965, The Andy Griffith Show was in its 5th season, and Andy Griffith and Aneta Corsaut's professional relationship had reached new heights. Aneta, who had originally appeared as a guest character in 1961, had become an integral part of the show. By this point, Helen Crump had evolved into more than just a love interest for Sheriff Andy Taylor. She was a steady, grounding presence on the show. Off-screen, this growing professional relationship was matched by a genuine friendship that blossomed behind the scenes. Despite Andy's famously private nature, it was clear that he respected Aneta not only as a colleague, but as a person. In interviews, Andy was often asked about his co-stars, and he always spoke highly of Aneta, calling her one of the most dependable actresses he had ever worked with. However, he rarely revealed more than a surface-level connection, leaving much of their bond hidden from the public. Aneta, too, was a private individual, and while she did not share much about her personal life, those close to the set could tell that her relationship with Andy was unique. It wasn't just the chemistry they shared on screen that made their dynamic stand out. It was the mutual respect and trust they had built off-screen over the years. By 1967, Andy and Aneta had spent more than half a decade working closely together. The dynamic between them was well established, both professionally and personally. Aneta's character, Helen, had become a key part of the show, and the two shared not only screen time, but also moments of support and camaraderie off-camera. Though Andy was known for keeping his private life private, those who worked closely with him noticed the bond he had with Aneta. They were often seen talking during breaks or laughing together after long days of shooting. Yet, despite the closeness they shared, Andy never fully opened up about how much Aneta meant to him. He never publicly acknowledged the full extent of their bond, and it was this very reticence that kept their relationship a quiet one. For Andy, showing vulnerability was a challenge, and while he admired Aneta immensely, he never found the right words to express it in public. It was perhaps because he understood the delicate balance of their professional relationship, knowing that if he acknowledged too much, it could alter the unique dynamic they shared. In interviews, Andy's words about Aneta were always respectful but carefully measured. He spoke about her professionalism and the way she brought depth to her character. But he never fully delved into the friendship that had grown between them over the years. For Andy, it was a matter of personal boundaries. He valued their relationship too much to risk changing it with any public statements. Despite his silence, Andy's appreciation for Aneta never wavered. By 1967, as the show moved into its later years, the strength of their bond had become a cornerstone of the series' success, even if it was largely invisible to the audience. They had developed a silent understanding, one that didn't need to be voiced. The respect they had for each other was clear, even if the true depth of their connection remained hidden from the world. By 1968, The Andy Griffith Show was entering its 8th season, and Andy Griffith made the decision to leave the show. After nearly a decade of playing the beloved Sheriff Andy Taylor, Andy chose to step away from the role that had made him a household name. His departure marked a turning point, both in his career and in his personal life. For Aneta, this change was a significant one. While she remained a key part of the show until its final episode, their shared time working together was coming to an end. In the years following Andy's departure from the show, Andy and Aneta's professional relationship gradually faded into the past, but the respect they had for each other remained. Andy, ever the private man, did not openly discuss the impact Aneta had on his life, but in private moments, it was clear that she had been an important part of his journey. The bond they had built during the show's run continued to influence both of them, even if Andy never openly acknowledged it. As the 1970s progressed, Andy focused on other projects, including his role in Matlock, but the emotional weight of his past work remained with him. He frequently looked back on The Andy Griffith Show and the people who had been a part of it. In particular, he often spoke about how much he valued the work ethic and professionalism of his co-stars, Aneta included. He acknowledged that the chemistry between them was not just the result of scripted moments, but was based on genuine mutual respect and admiration. By 1980, in various interviews and reflections on his career, Andy began to express more openly the impact his time on The Andy Griffith Show had on him. During this period, he spoke fondly of his co-stars, including Aneta. Though he still refrained from going into great detail about their off-screen relationship, his words carried more weight as he aged. Andy began to reflect on the people who had shaped his career, and Aneta, without a doubt, was one of those people. She had been a constant source of support during their time together, but Andy had never fully verbalized how much her friendship had meant to him until much later. During the 1980 period, as Andy entered the next chapter of his career, the deeper significance of his relationships with his co-stars began to surface. His public recognition of Aneta while subtle, carried a weight of reflection. He recognized how their professional dynamic had helped him shape his own identity, not just as an actor, but as a person. Yet, despite this acknowledgement, the full depth of his feelings toward her remained unsaid for many years. Even as Andy moved on to new projects, Aneta's influence lingered in the background. The moments they had shared, both on and off screen, were a quiet foundation of respect and understanding. But Andy never publicly stated just how much her presence had impacted his life and career. The year 1989 marked a turning point in Andy Griffith's life, not only professionally, but personally. That year, Aneta Corsaut passed away on November 6th after a battle with cancer. Her death was a quiet yet profound loss for Andy, who had shared years of work and friendship with her. Though he never spoke publicly in detail about their off-screen relationship, her passing brought a wave of reflection and remembrance. In the years that followed, Andy began to look back on the friendships that had shaped his life and career. In his later years, he finally acknowledged the depth of his connection with Aneta. He revealed how much her presence had meant not just as a co-star, but as a steadfast friend who had understood him in ways few others did. Andy admitted that, although he had never fully expressed it at the time, Aneta's influence had quietly shaped both his professional and personal life. Her professionalism, kindness, and unwavering support had been a constant source of strength, and in retrospect, he recognized just how impactful their bond had been. This acknowledgement wasn't dramatic or sensational. It was reflective, heartfelt, and measured. Andy's revelation confirmed the deep respect and emotional connection that had always existed between them. While he never detailed everything about their relationship, the truth he finally shared allowed both him and the world to honor the enduring friendship that had defined so much of their lives together. Even now, the significance of their bond resonates with fans of The Andy Griffith Show. The chemistry and warmth seen on screen between Andy Taylor and Helen Crump were reflections of a deeper reality, a connection built on respect, trust, and genuine affection that had lasted long past the camera's stopping. Even though Andy Griffith never fully revealed the depths of his relationship with Aneta Corsaut during their years together on The Andy Griffith Show, the impact of their connection remained long after the cameras stopped rolling. While their off-screen friendship was never made public, the bond they shared left a lasting imprint on both of their lives. Fans of the show could sense the authenticity of their on-screen relationship, which was built on the same respect and trust that defined their professional relationship. As time passed, Andy began reflecting more on his life and career, and it became clear that their bond had been more than just a professional partnership. It had been a meaningful friendship that sustained both of them during some of their most challenging times. Though Andy had kept the full extent of his feelings for Aneta to himself, his late acknowledgement of their connection brought a sense of closure to a story that had always been left untold. Aneta's role in Andy's life wasn't just limited to the years they worked together. In his reflections, Andy spoke of how her friendship and support had influenced not only his career, but his personal journey as well. Despite the years that passed, Andy never forgot the quiet moments they shared, the professional respect they had, and the emotional connection that had been a constant source of strength. Their relationship continues to resonate with fans of the show. For many, the on-screen portrayal of Sheriff Andy Taylor and Helen Crump remains one of television's most enduring love stories, even though the full truth of their off-screen connection was never fully revealed during their time together. In the years since the show ended, The Andy Griffith Show has remained a cultural touchstone, and the memories of Andy and Aneta's partnership, both as characters and as co-stars, are still cherished. Though Andy never openly shared everything he felt about Aneta, his eventual acknowledgement confirmed what many had always suspected. Aneta had been one of the most important people in his life, both professionally and personally. Her influence, though subtle and unspoken, had shaped the course of his career and his legacy. It wasn't the grand public revelation that some might have expected, but it was a quiet, reflective truth that allowed Andy to honor the deep, lasting friendship they had shared. Even today, the impact of their connection is felt by those who watched The Andy Griffith Show during its original run, as well as by new generations who continue to discover the series. The respect, warmth, and chemistry between Andy and Aneta still resonate, proving that sometimes the most meaningful relationships are those that remain unsaid but never forgotten. The bond between Andy Griffith and Aneta Corsaut was one that shaped The Andy Griffith Show and left an indelible mark on both their careers. Though their connection was never openly discussed during their time working together, it was always there, quiet, steady, and grounded in mutual respect and admiration. As the years passed, Andy's reflections on his career and friendships gave him the opportunity to acknowledge the truth of what he and Aneta shared, a truth that had remained unspoken for so long. Their relationship, marked by a deep professional respect and a genuine friendship, was more significant than anyone could have imagined. And though Andy never shared this truth with Aneta during her lifetime, he finally brought it into the light, offering a poignant recognition of the lasting impact she had on him. In the end, the most meaningful connections are often those that aren't spoken about loudly but felt deeply. The legacy of Andy and Aneta's bond continues to resonate with fans, reminding us that some relationships, though unspoken, can last a lifetime. For more emotional stories, check out this video.